Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Board of Selectmen's meeting for Wednesday, April 24th, 2013. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. First item of business is in accordance with Mass General Law. I have to report that this meeting is being recorded by the Board of Selectmen's office and also by East Long Meadow Cable, and I have to ask if anyone else in the audience is recording the meeting. I don't see anyone raising their hand, so let's proceed.
Can I ask that we take a moment of silence?
Yes, I was going to, but go ahead. I'll let you, since it was your idea, you can bring it up.
Oh, okay. I just ask that we take a moment of silence for the victims in Boston, the survivors, as well as the people who weren't able to survive their injuries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I would like to begin by thanking my fellow board members for moving the meeting to tonight due to a scheduling conflict on my part. I appreciate their flexibility.
Flexible now?
There you go. Yeah.
Okay.
Our first item on the agenda is a hearing. We're having a hearing regarding a poll location, and I would like to invite Jill Wilson.
Lisa Jasinski.
It's not what it said. Okay, come on up, please. Yes, and we will let the clerk read the notice.
Okay, to the Board of Selectmen, National Grid requests permission to locate poles, wires, and fixtures, including necessary sustaining and protecting fixtures along and across the following public way. Auburn Street install on SO pole on Auburn Street, beginning at point approximately 124 east of center line of the intersection of Tomskin Ave, location approximately as shown on plan attached. Wherefore it prays that due notice and hearing as provided by law, it is granted a location for the permission to erect and maintain poles and wires, together with such sustaining and protecting fixtures as it may find necessary, said poles to be erected substantially in accordance with the plan filed herewith marked Auburn Street, East Long Meadow, Massachusetts. Also for permission to lie and maintain underground lateral cables and wires in the above or intersecting public ways for the purpose of making connections with such poles and buildings as each of said petitioner may desire for distributing purposes. Your petition agrees to reserve space for one cross arm at a suitable point on each of the said poles for the fire, police, telephone, and telegraph signal wires belonging to the municipality and to be used by it exclusively for municipal purpose. By National Grid.
Thank you. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks.
That's
How
good.
are you?
Good, thanks. So you're here on behalf of National Grid.
On behalf of National Grid, looking for permission to set a pole on Auburn Street as stated in the petition. I understand Jill did come by. Jill did the job originally, and there was an issue with tree trimming. She did her best to find the location for the tree, and it does involve a tree that overhangs the public take, and I believe that there was some investigation into that, even on the town's part. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. Now,
Okay.
should we hear from anybody in the audience who may want to speak on this first, or should we proceed with?
That would be a recommendation, see if there's any public comment, and
Okay.
then any report from town officials. If council is not here at that time, I can speak perhaps.
Okay. Okay. Is there anyone in the audience here concerning this particular poll location? Is there anything?
Well, I just got the notice, so I thought I would come. I don't know where the poll's going to be.
The poll is going to be, you could take a...
Okay.
You can,
if you don't mind, could you identify yourself?
Julie L.K., Tompkins Ave.
Thank you, Julie.
Julie, if you'd like to take a look at the sketch, I can show you
Sure.
probably clearer where it is. So as you're coming down Auburn, I think it's from Gates, is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
From Gates, there's a house here on the corner, and there's a pool that stops here, and we're going to continue at one more pool.
Okay.
So I don't know if that affects your property at all.
No.
Okay.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to make a comment? Okay. Once again, I realize you do know we've had some discussion with our tree warden and also our town council, and neither of them are here right now, but I believe Nick can fill us in on the findings.
I was advised by the tree warden yesterday that council had been in contact with him, and that the issue was one of having that the National Grid would need the ability to not just simply set the pole, which is really not at issue here, but it's the being able to do the trimming necessary to set the pole and then any maintenance thereafter. And to date, I believe still there was an agreement sought, or at least National Grid had referred to an agreement sought by the trees themselves that are in question are on private property. So the question at the hearing, and this being a continuation, was whether or not the town could had jurisdiction to give permission on certain limbs that would fall in a plane, if you will, of the public right-of-way. And that was a question that needed to be determined. I've been advised by the tree warden, or from town council via the tree warden, that it is the case that that plane, if you will, on the public way can be maintained by the town and by extension, as I understand it, the utility for that. And that being the case, I believe if the town decided to give permission for the trimming and then maintenance to the utility, that would allow for the pole to be set.
Okay. So I guess if there's no other, do you have anything further to add? Any other comments?
I don't really have anything further to add. I do know that the pole right at the intersection sits really kind of in the middle of an existing tree, and at some point that may need to be trimmed, regardless.
Okay, but seeing as we've been given the green light in effect by town council and by the tree warden, you do have a right to prune the tree that stretches over town land as you see fit. So I would like to ask, is there a motion to allow National Grid to be able to tend to the trees that overhang this pole, this particular potential pole location?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Have we've spoken with the owner of that tree, I'm assuming, but I'd like to just ask that question to be sure.
I think the owner was spoken to, and I don't know if, I'm obviously the owner's not here today, and I don't know if the owner knew that, or knows that that's the final, I mean, the rule is the rule, that they are allowed to trim it. Yeah, so.
Okay.
I did ask if, to be sure that this owner in particular, because it's the one that had the biggest impact, was
Absolutely.
notified of the meeting, and she said yes, that.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Or he, I'm not sure.
He or she, yeah.
Yeah.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Very good. Yes.
And ask for a vote to approve the petition as presented.
Okay. I'd like to ask if there is a motion to present the petition as presented for the pole location on Auburn Street.
So moved.
Is there a second? Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Very good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Take care, Mike. All right. We are a few minutes ahead for our next appointment, but he is here. So
He is.
if you'd like, we can take you a few minutes early.
Sure, as long as we start with B and then go back to A.
Oh, you're waiting for Jerry?
GTA is actually just walking in. Right
Okay,
now.
I'll tell you what. What I'll do is I'll go through the meetings, invitations, and reminders. That'll take all 2 minutes, and I'll give him a chance to get in.
Okay.
Meetings, invitations, reminders. There's a benefits fair Wednesday, May 1st, 2013, 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. at the Council on Aging at 328 North Main Street. There's the Board of Selectmen meeting Tuesday, May 14th, 2013, 6 p.m. Town Hall Hearing Room. There's a Board of Selectmen's meeting prior to the annual town meeting, Monday, May 20th, 2013, at 6 p.m. in the East Long Meadow High School Front Conference Room. Annual town meeting is Monday, May 20th, 2013, 7 p.m. at the East Long Meadow High School Auditorium. And there's a Board of Selectmen's meeting Tuesday, May 28th, 2013, 6 p.m. at the Town Hall Hearing Room.
Well,
All right. If you gentlemen are ready?
Sure.
can't, we're too far away to shake hands.
I was just going to stand up.
How you doing, Jerry?
Oh, high five, okay. Hey.
How's everything going? Good. Good to see you.
Good to see you guys.
So you're here for a couple items. The first item is in regard to the Kicks 100.9 bonfire event, which unfortunately last year went off amidst a fire and pestilence and everything else that seemed to happen that night.
Ever-present power of the select board to ward off our tornado warnings, I think we'll be in better shape.
Then you're in trouble, if you're asking for us to do
I
that.
believe in
Can we
prayer,
put a motion
so.
in place?
But if you'd like to give us an overview of what dates and what you're planning on doing.
Okay, want to take that?
Sure.
Great. September 7th, Saturday. We had a similar date, I don't know if it was a day earlier or a day later last year, in the center of town, center field. Had it set up, it was a great setup, very similar to the same sort of model that we use in Hatfield the past 3 years, and it has been successful later in the year, so we've been able to avoid tornado warnings. So we're hoping to take that same model here and put it into East Long Meadow. The premise behind it is the radio station finds some newer talent, baby acts as we call them, that are up and coming, or artists that are on a bounce back on their career, one or the other. Put three acts usually on a label that are signed to a Nashville label, and then maybe a local band, 3 or 4 bands kind of thing, and it ends 10 o'clock, 9:30, whatever the parameters are within the respective town that we're in. We set it up where we do it where 100% of the ticket money goes to police, fire, rec, town-focused organizations that then defers to you folks to decide how to allocate. Also partner with, I think we had Rotary, we had
we had Rotary, we had Fazio's,
some
DiNardo's.
local businesses can come and sell their wares, again, within the confines of whatever the particular municipality's rules are. So it's basically an event for a family event. It's very family focused. Have country music, which now is essentially regular mainstream music.
Yes,
there
it
isn't
is.
such thing as country or pop. It's all just kind of interspersed amongst it. So it's a good time. And we've been pretty successful. We've taken it in Hatfield where we've gone from $3,000 to $5,000 to $10,000 where we've raised for the town. So hope to take the same model and do it here. And we have a lot more time to promote it than we did last year. With the help of the board, we put it together in, I think, 3.5 weeks, 4 weeks, something like that.
3.5 weeks.
Something like that. So,
Quite a flurry of emails last year.
so we already have a tentative commitment pending approval of the date from one artist. So.
Good.
And we're excited about that. And the artist from last year, albeit a very small turnout at the high school for a rain venue, was still a lot of fun, and they enjoyed it. And, it was fun to see it on TV. So
If you could get Ashley Gearing here from that,
yeah,
that'd be perfect.
yeah.
I didn't hear that, but that's okay.
Any questions from the board?
I think it's
I know-
fabulous.
I know
Great.
we did our best last year, sort of on the edges. I wasn't really as involved as a lot of other people, but it was too bad because we went to the high school that night and the bands were great.
They
But it was
were,
just a
weren't they?
matter of, it was a small crowd, and when you weren't outside looking at the clouds to see what was coming towards you, you actually could go in and listen to the music. But hopefully this year, we'll have better weather and a great turnout, and it sounds like a blast. And you do have a bonfire.
Yes,
That's
we
one-
do.
yeah.
Paul was great. Paul Morissette was great.
Yeah.
Ryan
Yeah.
was helpful. Colin.
Everybody was. Carolyn was. I know Colin
Carolyn,
was.
yeah. There was a number of folks that really just got behind it. Ryan working with our IT people, getting the word out, e-blasting it, et cetera. Working up the artwork and that. So it was a good collaborative effort.
Well, I would just like to piggyback on the fact that you said it's going to be family-oriented, so we don't have to worry about any parental advisories or anything like that.
That's the beauty of country
And
music. It's safe to listen to in the car with your kids.
Music is music, sometimes,
It's
So-
an expression.
Exactly.
It's a choice.
And so I'm pleased to see family
Good.
oriented. So I think that's going to be a great time for all of us.
Yeah.
Great. Great. And obviously, any help you need from us, just let us know.
And
We're
likewise,
happy
any
to.
questions that you may have or town folk might have, I'm obviously in town and accessible.
And I'm sure the Rotary Club will help again. I can't speak for them, but as
They
a
were
member,
awesome.
I
I think it was it Connie that helped out with the skids and that over at Acres Power?
Yep, probably.
Oh, yeah.
Acres Power. So, Colin certainly knows how to get a hold of me, and Paul does also.
Okay.
And we'll keep you updated through Colin and Paul as the changes, or, as it grows.
Progresses, yeah.
Gets finalized, all right?
And 4 months is a hell of a lot better than 3.5
Oh,
weeks
yeah.
to
Sure.
promote the thing. And
Just whoever can do the research on tornado dances and keep it away, that's all I
Yeah.
need. So we
How
get
about the power of prayer?
there you go.
That works too.
There you go.
All right.
I choose a broad spectrum.
Oh, you use a broad spectrum. Whatever works for you.
Whatever one wants to
Exactly.
believe in is fine with me.
Absolutely.
All righty?
Great.
Okay.
Super, thanks,
Thank you
guys.
so much for
Appreciate it.
coming
Good
in.
to see you.
Take care.
Take care.
Appreciate it.
Pleasure. Look forward to it, Colin.
All right.
Thanks. Good luck at hockey.
Yeah,
All right, you have one more item.
I do.
Sure, I mean, is it, okay. That's true, it is our field, isn't it?
Make a designation, at least
Yeah.
for the date.
May I have
Okay.
that?
Will it be poop-free?
I'd like to,
It's the goal.
that's the, yeah.
I would make a motion?
I like,
You're entertained.
yeah, would someone like to make a motion to accept September 7th, 2013 as the date for the Kicks Bonfire event?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Mm-mm.
Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Very good.
Great news.
Speaking of clean fields, the geese management update.
It's been exciting. We are currently in week 3 of the goose management plan, I guess you could call it. And Cooper's doing great, I guess, if we wanted to give an update. But what was nice is that LCAT actually came out, and we did a story that should be airing on LCAT that kind of informs the town of why it's happening, but more importantly informs them that the problem is feeding the geese, and that's where it starts. And then moving forward, this is the humane way of saying this is your spot, and this is the the town's spot to lay out picnic picnic baskets and play ball and the whole deal. I will report that we started with 150 geese on Heritage Park, the baseball fields, and over the past 3 days I've had 0. And we had 9 geese when LCAT did the story. So the amount of geese that are actually spending their time on the field over the past 3 days has been 0 from 8 to 4. And then at 4, all the kids are on there anyway. So really, it's kind of it's working, which is great. And what I'm hoping to do now is find some time in my day to kind of go around to other fields and let department heads know that if you see them out the window, tell me what times they're there, and that way I can put a little plan in. That way, grab my 15-minute break for the day and shoot around and see what we can do to.
As long as you're not coming to us with a job description for the dog and benefits. And
Well, he does like treats and things along those lines, but no,
We'll work for
he's well fed.
biscuits.
He's well fed, so he's doing well, and
That's great.
it's exciting that it's
Fabulous.
working and we're not using any chemicals or anything like that.
Right.
So
Excellent.
That's great.
And it's working, that's fabulous.
Yeah.
And Cooper's having fun.
I'm sure he
And
is.
getting exercise.
He's lean and mean. There you go.
And I'm sure since the only time you had geese there was when LCAT was there, they were probably just starved for attention anyways.
Yeah. There you go.
All right.
Good job,
good.
Colin.
All right.
Thank
Thanks,
you so
Colin.
much,
Thank you.
Tom.
Have a good evening.
You too.
Okay, the next item is is unfortunately a resignation letter from one of our call firefighters, Michael Minahan, effective April 14th, 2013. He's accepted a position as a police officer with the Springfield Police Department. We thank him for his service on the call fire staff of the town. And Nick, could we generate a letter of thanks to him for his service to the town? Thank you. Next item is the
Do we take a vote?
Oh, I'm sorry. Is there a motion to accept with regrets, the resignation letter of Mr. Minahan?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Absolutely.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Next item is from the fire department. It's regarding a compressor capital request and a corresponding, I believe, grant.
Really, notification to the board from the chief that looks like they'll be in line to receive a grant of $47,500
That's
SCBA compressor for the bottles. So,
Excellent, excellent news.
Yeah, it's great in two ways. A, they got the grant, and B, it reduces their need from the capital, from
Capital
capital
Right.
committee, so it's very good.
Frees that money up for something else.
Yep.
Great.
Next item, I don't have any hard copy on, but it's the update regarding the request from the American Legion Day.
I just want to give the board an idea that unfortunately the American Legion will not be able to host its event this Saturday as they had hoped for. There were just too many things that needed to be applied for, so this was to remind the board it was a event where they were going to have 3 bands and so forth, and we just really, we were working and doing what we could, and they made a decision to just hold off, but they do expect to come before the board with a request to probably address the issue of the space so that it can be used in that fashion in the future without having to do that every time. It may come as an alteration of premises, at least to allow perhaps some kind of a outdoor area, but we haven't seen an application yet. We've just talked with them about the process, so we'll just let the board should be aware.
Thanks. Our next item is a request for signatures regarding a Chapter 90 reimbursement request. I guess the town is in line to get, let's say, $86,642 and change in reimbursement for paving.
That's correct. And you have just the letter there in your regular scan, but you have the full packet. Should be here for signature for the board members, by the board members.
All right, thanks. The next item is an update
Wait
on
a
the...
minute. We're signing to, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
May I? We're signing to get reimbursed?
That's correct.
Okay.
Chapter 90 funds.
I just want to be sure.
Yep.
Yes. So that, for example, you see in the warrant for the town meeting, annual town meeting, there's article, I think it's 5 or so, to get reimbursed, and there's a number there of 587,018. So this would have been from last year's town meeting. This is our application for reimbursement from the state for Chapter 90 funds.
Okay.
And this is one of the projects that fell under those funds.
Okay. Thank you for the clarification.
Thanks, Nick. Next item is Brown Farm Community Garden. Is there an update?
I met with the planning board last night just to ask if there were any questions that they had, or was there anything that we needed to do so that we could move forward successfully. There's going to be a meeting of the department heads on the 30th at 10 o'clock so that everyone can share their concerns or put whatever they need to on the table, and our official hearing is on May 7th.
With the planning board.
With the planning board, yes.
Great.
Excuse me, Deb, the meeting that's going to happen on the 30th at 10, where is that going to be?
I believe it's going to be in the hearing room at Town Hall.
Okay.
Okay. Next item is a notification from the Boston Society of Civil Engineers, which is a section of the American Society of Civil Engineers. I guess they have a bridge design competition, and Birchland Park did very well. So there were a number of teams there that 130 students entered, and let's see, I'm trying to think of how many. I know we've got at least 5 teams from Birchland that ranked 3rd, 8th, 9th, and 14th within the state.
That's
So
great.
that's very impressive, and someone will someday be able to
Build a bridge.
build a bridge that will go over the rotary and solve all our problems.
Congratulations.
Yes. The next item is the annual town meeting warrant. I know you're working on the draft, Nick. I don't think it's finished yet.
It is not quite finished yet.
Okay.
We received the latest version just minutes before the meeting. We expect to have it completed by the end of the day tomorrow. That's what our goal is, and perhaps be able to post it on the web in time for the weekend and then around town where the clerk needs to post it. So that's where we are. We've been working on that pretty well. Also, I received some information from just a reminder from the town moderator. If I could hand a copy, just at least for the board.
Actually, I got.
And you may have been CC'd on this.
Yeah, I got that email today. So.
Okay. This was regarding the taping for the warrant articles. And on the back of that page is just an abbreviated version of a spreadsheet that the moderator had sent as well. So the taping of the show is the 9th of May. If that date is not convenient, we may be able to accommodate people for the 6th. On the back of the page is just a summary of what the articles are. And I think I would ask the board to consider having a discussion about who may be willing and able to present which articles on behalf of the board.
I'll be happy to, just to digress to the next item, since it sort of corresponds with this. The Water and Sewer Enterprise Fund, I know I've been questioned by a member of the DPW why that's being brought forward by the Board of Selectmen instead of the DPW, and I believe it's because it's an accounting function. So I will be happy to attend that meeting with you on May 7th. I know you and our town accountant are going.
That's correct.
At, I believe, was it 4 o'clock?
The
4:20?
meeting starts at 4, yes.
4:20, and we can discuss why we are, why we're putting this warrant item on instead of the DPW. So in that regard, I don't know, do we want to go through these on air or just at some point decide what we want to,
But the board, certainly it's the board's pleasure to make the decision how you want to proceed. I think in the past there have been different board members that have either covered the entire taping for the board, or there's been some combination of everything.
I mean, I don't know what the availability is of the
For
two
May
fellow
9th?
board members for May 9th, but I mean,
That's a Thursday.
yeah, I already told Moderator Shields that I'll be happy to be there. So if you can't make it, that's fine. If you can, we can always split these up and do a few each, and it's just a matter of explaining. in
I
front of the
definitely want
camera.
number 12.
Okay.
Okay.
I have it on my calendar, Paul, so
All right.
if you
Yeah.
need
Then,
something.
then we can discuss if you
Yeah.
guys want to get back to me and
Sure.
let me know which ones you want, and I'll take the rest.
Okay.
All righty? Does that work?
It works.
Could I ask the board members to send that information to me? I'll compile a list then, for the board and send that out.
Okay.
Great, thank you.
All right, so you took care of item B. So the next one is fiscal year 13 and 14 budgets.
This is really a carryover item to see if the board had any other comments or questions at this point.
I don't know if anyone else does.
No.
No? I'm sure you have a million questions.
You're right.
You can tell by the gleam in your eye.
It's all right.
All right.
Everything in time.
Next item is the 4th of July parade. We've been invited to participate, which obviously is an annual event. We'll have to discuss at some point. I know with my other fellow board members, we went with the casual attire, even though we got some flack. No, we walk. No, we walk.
Well, that's up for, we can talk about that.
Okay, that's true. All right.
We can get 3 convertibles, big thing.
So there you go.
You know?
Yeah. But we usually, we can discuss our appearance, because I don't know if you
And
folks.
casual.
Well, we used to wear polo shirts, basically. It worked out because we had a Republican, a Democrat, and an unenrolled, so it was red, white, and blue.
Oh,
So that happened to coincidentally work out to the color pattern, so.
I think we want to wear dresses.
Well, I'm not wearing a dress.
I
Thank you
gotta
very
figure
much.
that.
It probably will be cooler at that time of year.
Very good.
I
But in any
would wear a
event,
dress anyway. It's
we
exciting.
can discuss this. Like I said, we've gone from polo shirts to, if you want to go back in the archives that Nick has, back to the Steve Manning era where they wore tuxedos, complete with the top hats and if I did that, I'd walk out of the parade at 180 pounds. So
Oh,
maybe.
wow.
That'll be fun.
So we can discuss that at a future date, but we appreciate obviously
Great.
the
The invite.
the invitation.
Absolutely.
Next,
Something
yes.
send RSVP for the
Yes.
board at this point?
Yes, please.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And then the next item, Nick, is the annual town report.
Just a notification of the board that that project is also wrapping up, and I expect to have paper copies sometime next week, and I will likely post an electronic version before the weekend as well. So if people want to, they should be able to go to the website this weekend and take a look at the 2012 annual report.
Great.
There'll
Thank
be
you.
Thank you.
There'll be some available in advance of the annual town meeting, but they will also be distributed at the town meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And might I once again add that Nick does a tremendous job on
Yes,
this
he does.
town report. He takes a lion's share of it, and And he always does a great job. It's actually a great way to look back and see what's happened in the town, and obviously within the last 12 months, I'm sure it was a task to
To reflect.
to put that, to reflect the events and be diplomatic about it, so I appreciate and I thank you for all your hard work.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Great project, appreciate it. Thank you.
The next item under new business is, we have a request to accept a donation of police riot helmets from Mr. Richard Punderson. We have a letter here from Chief Mellis that I'll be happy to, it's very brief, so it's addressed to myself and the select board members. Town resident Richard Punderson has donated 16 police riot helmets, including the face shield, to the East Long Meadow Police Department. These helmets are not for ballistic use. He told Sergeant Patrick Manley he had purchased these items at an auction and wished to donate to the police department. So the chief would like us to make a motion to accept these helmets on behalf of the police department. So is there a motion to accept the donation of these 16 police riot helmets for the East Long Meadow Police Department?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
Just a discussion about, with regards to the helmets, are they of a certain grade? Because I don't know much about that.
That makes two of us.
But I just wonder, do they need to be a specific grade? Have we examined them for safety? Will the police department be depending on them for safety? I just want to make sure if they are depending on them for safety, that they're meeting the grade.
I would,
And what are they going to be used?
I would have to assume that the chief wouldn't accept them.
Right.
Unless.
I assume nothing.
and I believe when it's not for ballistic use, obviously, I don't believe that they will stop a bullet, so to speak.
Right.
But in the event of, and if there were a riot circumstance, I'm sure they would stop rocks and whatnot that were being thrown towards them. And I also, I believe, I will ask the chief, obviously, you would think that they've done their due
Right.
diligence and they wouldn't accept them if they weren't, but I will follow up on that and make
You
sure
will
that.
not assume.
Yeah,
Right,
Make sure
exactly.
that they've been looked at to make sure that their quality is up to the town standards.
Exactly.
All right.
So
Thank
with
you.
that said,
Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, now, we can might as well move on to the Board of Health.
oh, okay. We have, I'm going to ask Nick to help me out, I'm a little new at this. We have a memorandum of understanding with the public health nurse. We will be sharing with Long Meadow the cost, do we
Bless you.
say the cost?
It's part of the agreement.
Oh, as part of the agreement, okay. Basically, what it breaks down, it'll be during the period of March 25th, which is passed, until May 31st of this year. The cost will come down to be $34.32 per hour, which includes 33% of 33% of that includes her medical expenses and supplies. Do I have that right, Nick?
Health coverage.
Health coverage, okay. Retirement liability and current benefits such as health insurance. We have certain things that we have to report to on a state level, and we don't have a nurse currently. We're trying to cover a void from when our latest nurse retired. And by accepting this, again, this will be just until March 31st, and then we have some other things that we're going to look in after that. But right now, they have the porthole open, and they can enter in all of our information, and so we'll be in compliance with the state. If I'm missing something, feel free to add in, Nick.
Just to clarify, it is May 31st, you said that initially, and then it said March 31st, but
No,
you have the
it's-
dates.
It says that it started on March 25th till May 31st, 2013. And that's when it's ending, on May 31st, right?
That would be the extent of this MOU, yes.
Right, okay. That's it, I think. Any questions?
The only question I had, Nick, is it a requirement to have a public health nurse for each town? I was asked that by a selectman from another town today, that's why I'm asking.
Yes.
Okay, all right. But we can regionalize.
Rather, you must have this function covered.
Okay.
And to cover the function, especially now with the system that's used by the state, really requires more than a lay person to cover it properly. In particular, when you're talking about having to follow up on and conduct home visits and quarantines and the like, and monitor medication dosage or the taking of medications and so forth. You really do need a public health professional.
Exactly.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, no problem. So I will entertain a motion to accept this memorandum of understanding at this time.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Nobody, aye also. So that passes. So we now have a memorandum of understanding with the Long Meadow nurse there. Okay, the next thing that we have is the mosquito spraying. That has been rescheduled until May 1st. And that'll be with weather permitting. I guess there was a problem with the date that we had before on the 24th, and so it's been rescheduled to May 1st. If it should rain, just look and see if there's something up in the sky. You'll know that they're doing that. It'll happen first thing in the morning, and if you have any questions, certainly you can feel free to give me a call or give Nick a call. And that's about it on that, right? Okay, the next thing we have is the Household Hazardous Waste Day, and Nick is going to handle that because unfortunately I am not able to make the school committee meetings just now because I am in a class, so we'll give them my regrets, but I will be there shortly. I was enrolled in the class, and the class should be ending shortly, so I'll pick up after that. But if Nick, if you could let us know what took place that night?
Sure. I met with the school committee. Arlene Miller joined me at the meeting. Arlene, of course, is a person who's been really the driving force about the event going back probably from the start. And we had a very good, positive meeting with the school committee. The overall impression that we had, and indeed the vote that they took, reflected that the school committee is in favor of allowing for the event to take place at the high school parking lot, provided that there's a little bit more checking into the athletic schedule in particular to make sure between not only the school department but also the recreation department. So they are looking into that so that there's no conflicts for that date. We did cover a lot of times and answered several questions about it. We didn't get into too many details about traffic flow or any of that, but talked about a little bit about that. So all in all, it's very positive. We also explained that we're looking at another site, at least one other site in town, a private site, and I've had just an initial conversation, and we have sort of gone back and forth. We keep missing phone calls as a possibility with the site on Chestnut Street. What I anticipate will happen is that I have a meeting with the ad hoc committee from members from the other communities scheduled on May 7th, and I believe we'll be talking about this and hopefully have some merits of what site for us to discuss, come back to the Board of Selectmen after that with a recommendation, and hopefully get that question answered.
Great. Excellent.
Thank you, Nick. And that's it for the Board of Health, the old business. Okay, and then we have new business, the draft of the ACO vehicle policy. That is for you to review. We just got that recently, so we'll go into that a little more after you've had an opportunity to review that, unless Nick has something that he'd like to add to that. Okay, ACO being Animal Control Officer.
Great.
And that's it for the health.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Angela.
Thank you.
Under correspondence, we have a letter from a town resident regarding littering on Maplehurst Avenue, and I guess it's an ongoing problem. And I know he's spoken to the DPW. Is this something that maybe I don't know if we could talk to the Board of Health, they're our health officer about it. I mean, we can't just. I read this letter and I'm trying to figure out how to approach it, how to attack it, if you will. I mean, I have the same problem on Hamden Road where the people who leave a local convenience store, by the time we get to my house, their beverage of choice is on my front lawn. So it's just
Sign of the times.
I won't say what beverage of choice sometimes, but it's, but anyways, we can give some thought to how to follow up on that. Maybe, you know, like I said, I don't know if there's anything we can do, but maybe if we discuss it with the DPW, there's something we can come up with. See, next we have Town Council. How are you, sir?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hello, thank you.
How are you?
Are you gonna come around?
Nice warm hands.
Thank you so much. Very well, thank you.
Okay.
Happy to help.
Items 19 and 22 and 21 actually would be executive session.
Okay. So the only item for open meeting is 20, which is a draft policy for the Board of Selectmen, which I actually know some. Do you want to go into this, or do you want?
Well, it's a what this is a policy that was prepared at the direction of the board in the fall of last year to address concerns of the board that department heads or other employees sometimes might feel intimidated if a board member requested them to do something or to take some action that was not in keeping with the normal procedures of the department. And a review of the documentation in the Selectmen's office failed to show that there was any policy in place that allowed an employee to say to an individual selectman or the town administrator, I can't do that without a vote of the board because it's not part of the normal course of our practice. So the board's concern over that situation led to a draft of the policy you see before you for your consideration, and I just bring it back up. It was one of those things with all the things that were going on in the fall. It was never brought back on the agenda, and it's there just
Yep, that's a good idea.
for to look at and see
It's
it.
an excellent idea.
In light of.
In light of, yes, exactly.
We'll leave it at that.
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
All right, now, should we vote on this, or should we review it first and?
Take a little more time
I would
to
think
look
we would
through it.
review it
Okay.
first, and,
I'm sorry, because I'm speaking from, I was here back in October.
well, see, you know, this,
But, yeah.
I think it's a great idea,
Yeah.
but certainly we want
Okay.
to make sure we
We'll
review
be
it.
happy to get back to that at either at the next meeting.
Yeah.
Great, thank you. Now, I would like to make a motion to, because everything else is executive, right? I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session to discuss strategy and preparation for negotiations with union personnel, because to discuss these matters in open session may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining position of the town, to discuss matters under General Law, Chapter 214, 1B, with respect to an individual's right to privacy, and to discuss matters involving attorney-client privilege between the board and town council, to return to open session only to be dismissed. Only.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Selectman Bronski?
Yes.
Selectman Thorpe?
Yes.
Selectman Federici? Yes.